crisis, the US grew at 3%, Europe grew too. But India continued on its strong momentum and its journey towards a Viksit Bharat. In this context, we know that we have a lot of capability, but converting that capability into large-scale innovation is really something that Professor Kamakoti has done very well. So we do live in interesting times, and we have the most interesting person in Chennai with us today. Professor Kamakoti holds an MSc and PhD from the IIT Madras, where he continued on as faculty and today serves as their director. At IIT, he has also sponsored the chairman JEE and is Associate Dean, Industrial Consultancy and Sponsored Research. He specializes in the area of computer architecture, information security, and VLSI design. He heads the Microprocessor Development Program and the Information Security Education and Awareness Program at IIT, funded by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. He's a member of the National Security Advisory Board. He has also served as the chairman of the Artificial Intelligence Task Force and constituted by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. He has over 150 publications in international journals and conferences, guided by many research scholars for their PhD and Master of Science. He serves in the technology committees of the National Stock Exchange and the Reserve Bank of India. Dr. Kamakoti is a recipient of the DRDO Academic Excellence Award, Indian Electronics and Semiconductor Association Techno Visionary Award, Abdul Kalam Technology Innovation and National Fellowship, ACCS Lifetime Achievement Award, IBM Faculty Award, and VASVIK Industrial Research Award. He has coordinated and successfully delivered close to 50 projects from industry and government R&D establishments. And it is this experience with which I request him to share with us. As India is on the road to its 100th anniversary in 2047, and the theme for AIMA this year is innovate, develop, and really scale solutions for Indians by Indians. The scope of industry to forge partnerships with the brightest minds in India and to develop global solutions, eliminating the divide between research and scale and the potential impact it can have to put India front and center, leading the charge on global development. So with this, let me hand over the mic to Professor Kamakoti. I do want to say that whenever I get into a conversation with him, I don't want to stop. So, but we do have a hard stop.
Thank you very much, Dr. Suneeta, and inviting me to AIMA. It's a new audience for me, so let me try and do justice. At the outset, I'm very sorry for the delay, but Lord Varuna and the traffic has been, quote unquote, very kind to us. And that diversion, I was actually feeling like Vasco da Gama trying to find out where is India, so to find out where Taj Coromandel is. So sorry about that. So, friends, we have a very, exciting but challenging time ahead. The next 23 years now. We've been when I started as a director, is at 25 years. Now time is running very fast. 2047, we would really like to see an India that's a knowledge superpower, a technology superpower, a superpower filled with people with rich in culture. The Bharatiyata that we are talking of, where we are looking at a very inclusive and a very prosperous society, is something which will make our country have its own identity. And what is it that is expected out of us, many of us, from different walks of life? Specifically as an educationist, also as a policy maker, and also as a head of an institution, a relatively premier institution in the country. What is expected out of me in person and my institution in general and general public from our understanding is what I thought I'll share today. And we'd like to have a quick question and answer because we have a time till 2. So I will just take some 15 minutes to talk about this, and 15 minutes we'll have an interaction. And so I'm very happy to have some discussions which can take this forward. Friends, there is a need for us to identify what is India. Right from the primary education, I feel that we have lost our identity thanks to the British. We have this Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool in nursery? While in Tamil, we have Aranshayam Virumba Aruvadishinam, which actually taught the alphabets along with moral values. And this is true for every Indian language, every Indian form of education. But we have gone away from that. To compound to this sort of effort from an education side, we also have so much of competition that beyond some point, a kid actually loses his or her identity in terms of what they are good at. When I start interacting with several coaches of sports, coaches of teachers, the gurus in different art forms, they say, I have an excellent shishya who can do extremely well. But then at 9th standard, the parents say that they have to study for IIT exam. So I also feel that I'm part of that crane. So I'll just start with what I'm campaigning for what we had done in the last 2 years. And I have also some results that I can share. And that's precisely the way we need to look at. I would like to take, because you're all from Management Association, we need to how to manage these type of scenarios. Friends, in the second 6 months of my term in IIT Madras, we had the unfortunate event of having 5 suicides in 6 months. And then when we started looking at the details of this, there were a lot of things that came out. It was not academic stress. But one thing medically that came out, Dr. Suneeta on my left ear, I should tell you, that none of these kids had vitamin D. Because the parents have not allowed them to play. They have not seen the ground. They have not seen sun. You say, Bhaiya, this is sun. This is rising sun. That was the level of acquaintances they had. So we introduced the sports quota for the first time ever in IIT's history of any IIT. Last year we said, if somebody has won a national championship or somebody has participated in an international championship, we must give them some credit. They should pass the JEE advance, but they can get any rank in some list. But then we'll have a special supernumerary seat for them. Essentially, what we are trying to convey to the parents is the studies alone need not make you success. And if IIT seat is what you term as success, there is a way through sports also you can approach. Last year, we were able to admit 5 kids. And just yesterday, the inter-IIT sports results came. And 2 of our kids, we actually broke all IIT records so far in pole vault. And 2 of our kids actually did well, that they bet the other opponent team by some 10-0. Okay. And that is the level of competence they are bringing, and they are doing well also. The first semester CGPA is 8.2. So they are doing well in studies, plus also they are able to do well in sports. Yesterday, friends, this is Margari in Tamil Nadu. So I have introduced what we call as FACE, Fine Arts and Cultural Excellence Admission. Somebody who gets a good score, a good All India B or B high grade, they get the CCRT fellowship, they get the Pradhan Mantri Bal Puraskar, they get, there are many, some 9 different awards are there for young children. And if they are able to get one of this, then, and they do reasonably well in JEE Advanced, they can get into some very good courses at IIT. So essentially, we are now, one of the important things, like you would have your children, grandchildren, some of you, one of the important messages that we must give is that India as a country, as we go towards the Viksit Bharat 2047, there is a necessity that we start preserving our identity, preserving our culture, and children must be allowed to do what they want to do. And we must identify. And it is also, as a policy maker, as an educationist, and also head of the institution, it's also duty of people like us to ensure that this is properly rewarded and recognized. And this is where I wanted to start today, because I want this message to go on. So kindly look at our face for Fine Arts and Cultural Excellence Admission. And I want you to spread across your community, your WhatsApp group, wherever you want. Just talk about FACE for the next couple of days. Let it reach nook and corner. Friends, now I want to take out 2 or 3 very important points as we progress towards 2047. Point number 1 is what is expected out of our youth. Between the age group of 15 to 35, we are the youngest population in the world. And it is very important that we channelize, we make our youth think about our country, about our national vision, because they are going to lead in 2047. And what is it that we can guide them? What is it that we can mentor them? What is it that education institutions will play the most important role in shaping the career? And what is it expected out of us? And this is what I would like to cover in next 5 to 7 minutes. Number 1, we are now going off from a point where we are looking at employees to employers. There is a necessity for us to instill in the children core value of what we call as innovation, out of the box thinking, and trying to bring the creativity out of them. That's very, very important. So many of our curriculum today are moving away from the rote learning of some fundamentals and then going in the same mode to expanding and saying that why don't you start exploring many things at the same point of time. So the National Education Policy 2020 has been one of the guiding factors in this. And what we are also seeing in this aspect is the University Grants Commission today has said that you can do 2 degrees at the same time, provided that timetables don't clash. We have also started multiple online degrees so that they can do 1 degree, evening they can do another degree. One such example of this democratization of education is IIT Madras' effort to have this Bachelor of Science, BS in Data Science and BS in Electronic Systems. Friends, we have around 35,000 students who are now part of our online degree program. And 8,000 of them are below poverty line. And we are supporting them through scholarship. And in this 8,000, more than 70 to 80% of this 8,000 are above the CGPA of 8 to 8.5. Essentially meaning the talent is there. It is just the democratization of the opportunity that becomes extremely important. Now, the creativity and the innovation that we are talking of will come when the kids are allowed to explore certain areas of their interest. And unfortunately, in our education system, at 10th standard, when the kid is now just getting introduced to what is profession, we ask a very draconian question of, do you want to do science group or commerce group? Correct? I make a decision. And unfortunately, in our education system, it's an irreversible decision. Now they come into this based on a 1-day examination, the JEE mains, probably 2 days on JEE advanced. We say that you are supposed to know, based on that performance alone, we are now telling them, you go and do in this particular IIT, this civil engineering. It becomes their karma degree. Just 1 day decides their fate. And again, it is irreversible. So keeping all these things in mind, the UGC came out and said, okay, you can do 2 degrees at the same time. So you get an opportunity. So the education system today has evolved that we say that it is enough if you do 60% of your core degree or what your karma, but the 40% can be free open electives. And this 40% open elective can be in any of your choice. It's really open, right? And that essentially has given us a lot of dividends. So today, a civil engineer can do an MA in public policy. So 4 years they get a civil engineering degree. They append 1 more years because they have this 40% extra credits. They do something on public policy and add 1 more year and they get an MA in public policy. And today, let us look at something like Pradhan Mantri Ghar Awaz Yojana. I need a civil engineer who has understood public policy. Now, this is really the type of new next gen students that we, as IIT system, we are trying to produce now. We have things like quantitative finance. A student who does, say, data science can do something on quantitative finance. They become very good engineers. So this is one interdisciplinary explorative education curriculum that we believe is one that is going to kindle the innovation in the young children. Now, the agenda in front of us is that we need some hundreds of Elon Musks, hundreds of Chris Gopalakrishnans, hundreds of Narayana Murthis, hundreds of Desh Deshpande, who are all some people who have actually brought in hundreds of Pratap Reddy Garu, who can basically bring in new air, new innovation into the respective fields. So whenever an idea strikes a student, there must be a systematic way by which that idea is nourished, converted into products, converted into some in a startup, and build them into a unicorn. This we call it as an innovation and entrepreneurship stack. So what many of the IITs have established, and I can give the case study of IIT Madras, is that we have an entrepreneurship cell which catches the student young. They have some idea, they work on that idea. We have an AI-enabled tool which basically says that this idea, is it patentable? Does it have a total addressable market? We convert that idea to a patent. We file that patent, protect that idea, tell the student, Bhaiya, this idea is yours. You own it. You love it. It's more important to you than your girl/boyfriend. We convince them and allow them to continue on this. Then we have a Center for Innovation, which will convert this idea to a design. We have a Nirman, which is a pre-incubator, which will convert that design into a prototype. Then we have 5 or 6 incubators, which will convert this prototype into a startup. Then we have the Gopalakrishnan Deshpande Center, many IITs have, which will convert these startups to unicorn, right? Mentor them. So this entire stack is built. Friends, in 2018, when I was the associate dean, we started a project called Patent a Day Scheme. Every day one patent. So on an average, in a year, there should be 3/6 patents. It's a leap year. So everybody said it's crazy. But last year, 382 patents have been filed by IIT Madras and 400 was granted. In the last 5 years, we have only hardly 2 patents that were rejected. So this is the innovation that our country could have. It just needs nourishment and we can take it forward. So this year, we have totally, so far, we have incubated around 382 companies. The valuation of that is around $5 billion. We have crossed 50,000 crores in our recent evaluation. But we believe that this year, we have put a very nice project called Startup Shatam. We have 100 startups every financial year. Every third day, a startup should be born in IIT Madras. So these are the ways by which we have to progress and nourish the young generation so that we move forward. The last one that I would like to say here is about Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is extremely important in our context, which is giving out equitable, accessible, affordable, quality education for all. So, and our GER, the gross enrollment ratio. Friends, IIT Madras has been in the top. 9th year consecutively, we have been rated the top engineering institution in the country. And when last time the thing was announced, one of the reporters asked me, "Are you happy?" I said, "How can I be happy if my GER, the percentage of students who move from plus 2 to an engineering college, is still 27%. 73 of my young children are not coming to higher education. They are not even seeing at college. And what is great deal saying? I am a IIT director." So we need to work very seriously on this. So friends, what we have done now is we have started a project called Vidya Shakti. It's called Kalvi Shakti in Tamil Nadu. We call Vidya Shakti Pan India, wherein we set up a TV as big exactly as that TV on your left hand side. And then as a Zoom camera, there is a Zoom connection, internet connection, and then a camera. Every day between 5 to 8, a group of alumni from IIT Madras, teachers, very good school teachers, a lot of NGOs, they come online and they interact with the children live, and they augment their schools, whatever they have learned in the school. Plus, they also talk about higher education, motivate higher education. We started off with 5 centers sometime in February 2022. My first success was from one of these centers. 3 children called us in March 1, 2022 and said, "Sir, we don't have biology teachers. We are Tamil medium. We are not able to pass in biology. We are getting 20 out of 100, but I want a career in biology." Friends, you must believe March 1, 2022, we identified a teacher from a good school here who want to teach in Tamil. Within April 15th was their the plus 2 examination, and all the 3 girl children scored above 90. This is the impact that we can create when we start moving towards this. So we have started this Vidya Shakti. Today, friends, we have more than 750 centers across India. And we will be growing to 10,000 centers. There is a lot of support from both the governments and state governments, wherein we go and interact with the kid, interact with the teacher, try to train the teacher. Unless we touch at the grassroots level, this is not going to improve. So this democratization of education is extremely important for our Viksit Bharat 2047. Today, developed countries are developed because they own the technology. They get the royalty for the technology. Dr. Suneeta will agree with me. 99% of our medical equipments are imported today. Medical field is one example. So is the field of sensors. So is the field of anything that we touch. Our dependency on technology is quite high. I think that dependency, as we now move to the new technologies, we need to start reducing those dependencies. And for that, our kids have to become more innovative. We have to provide education to a large population so that we get those rural intelligence. Villages are the identity of India. Chennai is not the identity. And we need to bring back that identity. And we should also create an India where our youth are ethical, nationalist, patriotic, working for the country, sincere and hardworking, and never compromise professional ethics for the sake of money. I think this is possible. If at all it is possible in our country, and we need to move towards that direction. From IIT, we are doing whatever best we can. And this is a clarion call for more than 300 plus participants who want to participate in this big national effort. I extend a hearty welcome to all of you, and thank you very much for inviting me. What questions? Yes.
Please use the mic.
So this is about the extremely regretful suicides, which was the first part of your conversation. So the lack of vitamin D, I mean, so what is your interpretation? Is it that people lack sporting spirit to cope with difficulties in life, or is it the physical limitation with lack of vitamin D renders into your body that pushes you to take a drastic step like this?
No, so vitamin D was a consequence of this. I don't say vitamin D was the reason for suicides, but somewhere we also read that the body, if there is some chemical imbalance in the body, it can induce stress. And when we started doing that analysis, we found that there is a lack of vitamin D. So it was a revelation for us, right? So that's the point. But then I want to go public in one thing. When I see what is sports today, sports gives you a maturity in the young child to face instantaneous success and instantaneous failure and look at it in the same, like Bhagavad Gita, what it says, Sukha and Dukkha, we want to see it in the same platform. I hit a 6 in the first ball. Yeah, I am hero. The next ball I get bowled, I am a 0. Okay. At the 0 and hero, the kid actually has the same maturity to look at. And that's what sports gives you in addition to fitness. But this vitamin D was a revelation for us. Right.
So I just thank you so much for such a enlightening and insightful talk. First of all, I think we are really blessed to have some words of wisdom, and especially about the culture and the values, and especially about the villages. You said India is not Madras, Chennai, with its villages. So we work actually on our organization in villages, about 330 blocks in UP and Bihar, extensively deep into villages. So about this Kalvi Shakti or Vidya Shakti you spoke about, just want to know more about this. How is it set up and what is the structure like? So
yesterday we signed our thing with UP. Okay,
Okay.
so we are trying to extend to 18 districts of UP alone. So the point is that we just have to identify in a village a place as big as, say, some 100 square feet or 150 square feet. There must be a local coordinator who can go and on this TV and assemble the kids. And also we give an app. They need to put the attendance and stuff like that. Anything without a feedback is useless. So we have a micro assessment and we give them some questions and ask them to answer on their mobile phones or collect the answer and key it on the mobile phone. Slowly, we want to really find out how these kids are faring. So this is it. So we identify ladies there. We want to empower ladies. Some of the places we give them some 2,000, 3,000 per month to just come and open it up every day, 2 hours and go. Sometimes the school themselves sponsor. There are people who sponsor those salary of this. We call them digital DD to give them their identity. And it's a very simple setup. So the setting up of this rural interaction center is hardly 10, 15 minutes. Go put the TV. Electricity should be there and internet should be there. This is one. So we are working with Geo and others to see if there is no internet. We just say, no, why don't you enable? Sometime they take, but they are enabling.
So who's setting up this? Because, we have 110 centers which are there of the similar size. Although we are working in a different project, which is on
So
financial
IIT
literacy.
Madras Pravartak is actually handling it. I'll take your contact. I'll put you in touch with the coordinator.
Right,
They will,
right, right.
you can just, and if you have already the smart TV, etc.
Yeah, it's already there. So we have
So just log into the Zoom session. That's it.
Yeah, correct. Because we are working with RBI and we can check if in the evening they can give 2 hours of the center which we are
Very
working, and
nice.
that can be actually
Yes,
worked upon.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Thank
think
you.
so. 1 o'clock. I will take later.
Yeah. Oh, you have one here?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thanks so much, Professor Kamakoti, for the words of wisdom that you shared. My primary question is on, while we are democratizing education, it's actually the democratization of the quality of education that is the driver for the country. And in this aspect, the teaching quality or the quality of the teacher has to be really improved. What are your thoughts? How are you thinking that we can?
Absolutely. So democratizing education itself, like, there is nothing like bad milk, right? Milk means good, okay? Of course, our fellows taught how to mix water with it, okay? Like education means itself, it's a good education only. But a democratization of education essentially means that the teacher should teach well. So as a part of this Vidya Shakti, the morning time, daytime, we are also training the teachers on simulation, training the teachers, because lab access is not there, right? Whatever you see in great schools like my school, PS Senior or Padma Sheshadri or DAV, you can't get there. So we are now using the simulation with some goggles, some 6,000 rupees goggle we give to the kids. From 4 or 5 we can give, and then they wear it and then see the simulations. They can understand the simulation. Yesterday, quite this video. See, I can talk about this for 2 hours. We have very less time. For a second standard kid in Arunachal Pradesh, we started teaching him circuit theory, which is a 8th standard topic. Within 10 minutes of, I have a 3-minute video. Within 3 to 4 minutes, this kid was able to understand connectivity, conducting, a bit of Kirchhoff's law, all these things. So in another 3 weeks of training, I'm very confident to teach him Maxwell equation. So okay, so this is something that we believe. But all this are possible because of simulations also. So we are using this VR AR to a large extent now. So, and we have to train the teachers, as rightly identified. We have to train the teachers. We are training the teachers. And some governments, for example, Andhra government, like the Honorable Chief Minister is on the WhatsApp group. Okay, so he monitors it. Now we say what has happened. It's just 2 weeks now. We have already signed MOU. It's now started 80 schools. He's now going to introduce another 1,000 schools, 1,500 next week. And similarly, UP. And also here, Tamil Nadu, we have a very good connection with these 3 states. We have actually now the government themselves are looking at it very seriously. And that seriousness will actually take it forward. Yes, democratizing quality education. So education means quality. That's the way we have to. Thank you.
Someone else in the room, we have a question for Dr. Vellar. So still we are lacking in rural development in terms of road, electricity, water supply, healthcare, and low level of nutrients. When are we going to achieve them?
I think I will not be in a position to answer this comprehensively.
Yeah.
But Viksit Bharat 2047, we must achieve it. But one thing COVID has taught us in a very big way, is that digitally we can actually try to handle these things successfully, right? And we have reached education to the schools, even the rural schools. So friends, I'm blessed to be in a family which has started a rural school 110 years before, and my wife's family 90 years before, both have started 2 rural schools. And we have around 1,800 children studying in these schools collectively, and all are below poverty line. So I understand the real problems there, because we are running the school. And I had right from 2001, when I joined as assistant professor in IIT Madras, my dream is to get at least one kid come and join IIT Madras BTech Computer Science. Okay, that will be a big one. Last year, one kid actually made till Anna University. It became opposite. So I think hopefully by the next few years by which I'll retire, I'll see the dream. Why? The thing is, today with technology, we can address many of this, specifically health. I think I don't want to talk. I don't have the courage to talk with Dr. Suneeta on my side. But we do have very accurate measuring equipments, and we want to actually make it a little more lesser cost. Because some of the equipments that we see today in market, in the ICU or wherever, the bill of material will be, say, some 500 rupees, but they would have purchased it at 5 lakhs. Okay, so I think more of indigenization on this and technology can be a solution, at least for a couple of things, like a smart grid, which can handle your electricity issue, and of course, health issue. And if you have good health and electricity, probably you may not want to travel, so road can be a little shabby also. Okay.
Very good answer. Dr. Mukesh Porwal, sir, how can education systems be improved to support the vision of Viksit Bharat?
I think we have answered that very
Yes,
comprehensively.
so.
It's also, I'll put again, the democratization of quality education is the way by which we can improve. And we are now doing it with projects like Vidya Shakti, and we would like to scale it.
Sanju Yaragudri, because of this politics, the education policy has been changing frequently. It may be the cause of student education. How can we solve this
So,
problem?
friends, policy is a document. Okay. And it is up to the educational institutions to take what is good in that policy. Right? That's a state policy. Every state has its own policy. Every state has its own DNA and structure. They have their own social commitments. there is one overarching policy, which is the national education policy, which is for all states. So we are taking good things from all, right? So no policy is imposing on you. See, finally what? See, it's like my guru Shankaracharya, Ganji Shankaracharya told me, if you lose hay, don't give police complaint. Finally, a cow has to eat and you'll get that merit. Correct? You understand? So whatever policy says, finally a student has to get educated properly, right? So the teachers have to teach well. They have to train themselves to teach well, and the students have to learn sincerely. This is all finally. Final net product. Teachers have to teach well. Students have to learn with attention. That is ensured. I think we'll have Viksit Bharat 2047 surely. Yes.
Sir, you indicated that vitamin D deficiency is very dangerous to body. And I have seen vitamin B complex, potassium, sodium, both are giving a kick to the body of the people, because I have experienced this myself. So why not Dr. Suneeta Reddy and her organizations can work on this and, send some notes to intermediate, high schools, colleges to regularly or periodically check all these components of the body,
Yeah. Okay.
so that they can not, even in IITs and IIMs and other engineering college and management college, it should be must that they should get all these.
That they are
body
doing.
checkup.
That they are doing, sir. Every school today does a check. And Apollo comes, Apollo Pharmacy comes. We have Apollo Pharmacy inside. We come and every student we get a check. But see, to a point we can substitute with medicine, but nothing can substitute your actual physical education or physical work, right? Today, that good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, I don't know what is it. So I stopped doing master checks, Suneeta. Because if I go for a master check, I only return as a patient. Something will be wrong. I said 2,200 parameters will be wrong. But ultimately, what your doctor also said, and somebody who came to IIT from Apollo said that, sir, keep walking, everything will be perfect. But I have to walk. See, I can't outsource walking, right? So all these things, what you are saying, sir, is like a placard, right? Pondicherry, 160 kilometers. It will not come with you till Pondicherry. It show the way. You have to drive and go.
Correct.
So that's the thing. So
Thank you.
that is something that we need to do, and the children have to encourage to be done.
Thank
Cheapest medicine.
Yes.
Pardon.
No, it's
No,
working.
no, whatever you're saying is wonderful. My biggest concern has been, I run schools.
Yes.
So you've been chief guest in some of the schools there. Where do you get these quality teachers to transform the students? The problem is it's always been the teachers' quality also is not adequate.
Exactly.
And that's where the challenge is.
Yes. So I face it day in and day out in my rural schools. Sir, you are talking about city schools. Now look at rural schools. Yeah, so it is. So teacher quality improvement is something that we need to do. Teachers can teach well, but they need the motivation to teach. We are seeing excellent teachers in some of these schools who can actually make a very big difference. But then accessing them, having a direct access to them and keep motivating them is something that we are trying to do through Vidya Shakti, right? At least 60% of the teachers in this rural school have now transformed themselves to be very good teachers. They are now able to guide them. So we get a couple of new students. How do we measure this success? Maybe I'm correct or wrong, but we are now seeing at least 4 or 5 kids qualifying for NEET, qualifying for JEE mains, writing JEE advance. Impossible those days, right? So this is what we are now moving.
Yeah.
But we are also trying, sir, just to extend, we are now saying that IITs will get involved in developing good teachers.
I think that's a critical part.
That's a critical part.
Because today, most of the knowledge is transformed from blackboard to the notebook.
Yes.
There's no teaching happens. The teacher writes something on the blackboard, the children copy it,
Correct.
and then go
The
back.
inspiration teacher. So we are now, friends, I think IIT Kharagpur, IISc has started this ITEP program for B.Ed program. And we are now working with this, the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, to do a BSc in Math plus Computing and a B.Ed, so that we generate good math teacher first. Math is the queen of sciences. Math is everything will be good. So
Sciences are also important.
science is important, but math finally math is giving you that clarity of that.
I have a question,
Sorry.
Suneeta.
Go ahead.
Sir, every student is preparing for the competitive exams for either admission to the college or job or any such thing. So the entire orientation is towards preparation for the test rather than preparing as a wholesome individual. So how do you bring the change?
Change is one is culture quota, this quota, all this we are bringing. And I'm also telling my personal thing. I failed in JE at mains, but I became chairman of JE in 2012. So nothing happens if you fail in JE. Enjoy. So, but this is I'm publicly saying. There's nothing wrong here. I hated chemistry. I would have got 3 out of 100 in chemistry. No, it's not an exception. This is a rule, right? Many people have succeeded. It's not that JE determines everything, but every parent would really want a child to do something best, right? And that is always there. Competition is not wrong, right? But at the same time, trying to say only that and nothing else is what is making the difficulty. And what happens is that even if one person says that, I have to only do JE, don't do anything else, everybody will follow because it's a competitive examination. So this herd mentality also sets in. Slowly, we are now, trying to give these messages in terms of saying sports is important, this is important, hobby is important, mental thing. I want to go public and say every kid who comes from a joint family, who has the affection of a grandparent, is emotionally mature. Today, Crazy Mohan has a very nice comment. And he said, hey, நானும் ஒய்ஃபும் சேர்ந்துருக்கோம் சொல்லிடாதப்பா திருஷ்டி பட போடுறது எப்படிமா, ரைட்? இப்போ அந்த நியூக்ளியர் ஃபேமிலியில் ஒய்ஃப் எங்கே உட்காந்துருக்கா, ஹஸ்பண்ட் எங்கே உட்காந்துருக்கா, ஏதோ சண்டே மீட் பண்ணுறா, அந்த லெவல்லாம் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. கேரியர் ஹாஸ் கம் அவுட். ஸோ எல்லாமே துட்டு. Enough, yaar, one fellow learns 90,000 rupees, we can have a decent fam running in Chennai to 1 lakh rupees. Why should I earn 5 lakhs? What are you going to do? Now I'm 55. My wife does very good chapati. If I eat 3 more chapatis in the night, 1 more chapati, I get gastritis. So all that I learn is for the 2 chapatis I can eat. I'm sure all of you will have touch your heart and tell me the same thing. So ella dudu. So career is becoming very important. So joint family, I must tell you, go and collapse all your nuclear family, bring one joint family. Parents, grandparents should be with child. With a message. The management, you study it again. See what other management school la. Okay.
That's such a good, even though we have many more questions, I think, I will try and get in touch with Professor Kamakoti at some date soon.
We'll
But-
open a fact group. So all
Yes.
questions
Oh, how sweet. That's really very kind of you. So I just wanted to thank Professor Kamakoti. Now we know why IIT Madras has been #1 for 9 years. May it continue on its journey with this most amazing leadership. The second lesson that I really learned from him is because this is where you see a true right brain, left brain working together towards perfection. Encouraging art, culture, sports, and really, using your body, like he said, walking every day, the cheapest medicine. I think he's got answers to a lot of questions in life. Thank you for bringing so much knowledge and energy to this discussion, and to AIMA. You've given us a lot of food for thought. So now may you have lunch.
Just a second.
Oh, thank you.
I also have a question.